Hola clase. Today we're going to talk about the regular and irregular conjugations of the present tense. As you know, in Spanish we have three types of verbs. The ones that end in AR, the ones that end in ER, and the ones that end in IR. In order to conjugate verbs, we must first chop off the ending AR, ER, or IR, and then add the correct present tense conjugation. Remember that the AR verbs ending conjugations are o, as, a, amos, ais, an. The ER verbs endings are o, es, e, hemos, es, en. And for IR conjugations are o, es, e, hemos, is, en. Now let's talk about irregular verbs. The first group of verbs that we're going to talk about are stem-changing verbs. A stem-changing verb is a verb that when conjugated will have a change in the stem, the beginning of the verb. These verbs are also known as boot verbs because when you draw a line around the conjugations that have the stem change, you see a boot, like the one over here with the verb empezar. Remember that all the conjugations inside the boot have the stem change and the ones outside do not. We have four groups of stem changing verbs. First group changes from E to IE. Second group changes from O to UE. Third group changes from E to I. And the last group changes from U to UE. Again, all these changes happen only inside the boot, which means all the conjugations would have to change except for the nosotros and vosotros forms. Another group of irregular verbs in the present tense are those verbs that are only irregular in the yo form. The first group that we're going to talk about are the verbs that end in CER or CIR, like the verb conocer, ends in CER. Any verb that ends in CER or CIR will change to ZCO, but only in the yo form. If you notice in this conjugation chart, we have the verb conocer, ends in CER. You chop that off only for the conjugation of the yo form and replace it to ZZO. As you can see, that's the only thing that changes. Everything else stays the same. It's a regular conjugation. So after that, you just chop off the ER and add the endings for ER verbs. Es, e, hemos, es, en. Now let's take a look at the verb conducir. Conducir ends in CIR. So when we conjugate this, again, we chop off the CIR only in the yo form. We'll change to conduzco. After that, the only thing that we will replace is the IR. So it will be conduces, conduce, conducimos, and conducen. The other group of verbs that is only irregular in the yo form are the verbs called go verbs. They're called go verbs because they will change to go, but again, only in the yo form. Examples of these are the verbs hacer, poner, salir, traer. If you notice these conjugations, all of these in the yo form change to go. Pongo, salgo, traigo. So again, they're go verbs because in the yo conjugation of the verb, they'll have a go in it. Everything else, as you notice, is the same. Es, hemos, es, en. Same endings for all of them. We do need to pay special attention to the verbs traer and caer. These verbs are go verbs, but if you notice in the yo form, they will also have an I. So it will be ego instead of just go. So if we were conjugating the verb caer right here on the bottom of the page, caer, normally it would be caigo, and then you go to the regular conjugation, which you will drop off the ending, and it will be caes, cae, caemos, and caen. You must memorize the regular conjugations of these verbs. This is all for the present tense. Now let's get some practice. Please let me know if you have any questions after watching this video so I can address them in class next time we meet. Hasta luego.